My name is Justin Brown, and I'm here today to talk about the four most common sailing knots used on a sailboat. Today I have my rope to demonstrate, as well as talk you through the knots, their usefulness, and applications. First let's talk about the four most useful knots. The bowline is a knot used to create a non-slip loop. The clove hitch is used to attach a line to either another line or an object. The figure eight is a good stopper knot, and the square knot, which is probably the easiest, is what I'll talk about right now. It's useful in many situations. It's a non-slip knot used to attach two lines to one another. It gives a good base for amateurs to start with knot creation. First, since it's used for two ropes of the same dimension, that's important. It starts off much like how you start off tying your shoes. You twist the two lines together, one on top of another. In this way, you get what you would get when you normally start tying your shoes. Now, the second part is you're doing the same twist on top of the other one, except there's two results you can get. You can get one that looks like this, that is incorrect, or you can get one that looks like, that's the incorrect one too. Alright, here we go. Or you get one like this, where they both interlock with one another, like in these pictures. Now, this is useful because it's a non-slip. They won't ever come undone, and it's good in tension when the two ropes are pulling against each other. That's where the square knot gets its great application from, either extending a rope or making it so they don't slip out from one another. The next knot is the bowline. It's useful for creating a loop knot that does not slip. It's useful in creating like safety harnesses or securing any loose sheets or even more lines that are loose. The old sailing adage goes, when in doubt, make a bowline. So I'm going to describe it a little differently because it's easier to teach this way, I feel. First, you create a loop. Now this, I'm going to set up as, this is the hole, the lead line is the rabbet, and the rest of the running rope is the tree. So first, you create your hole, then the bunny goes up the hole, around the tree, and back down the hole. Pull that tight, and you have a non-slip bowline knot. Now you could either, hang from this. You could create it as large as the loop if you wanted. Here you can see different scale. The one on the left is a fairly large bowline used in a docking situation, or a smaller bowline which is used to make sure that line is fastened to the other end of the pulley. So when you pull, it will probably pull one of the main sheets out. The next knot I'm going to talk about is the clove hitch. It's used to secure a line to another line, or possibly a solid object. It is a slip knot, meaning one can use it if the length of the line needs to be adjusted. It is very useful for putting bumpers to the lifelines on the side of the boat. So I'm going to use my arm will act as the other object and start it off here. So first thing is you loop it around. Oh no, I'm doing it backwards. Here. Okay, so you loop it around, then you bring it back around, and drop it back down. This is one variation. This is another variation. You'll even see some people add what they call a half turn at the bottom of the knot. That's creating a simple granny knot, making it so it cannot slip up and down. But what I was talking about is you can adjust the length, going up by bringing slack into the equation, or taking slack out and lowering it back down. This makes it useful for hanging those bumpers on the sides of the boat, so you can adjust them when you pull up to the port, so the side of your boat doesn't slam into the dock. The figure eight knot is a useful stopper knot. It's also often overlooked for being not so useful, but it's important to understand how this knot works and its circumstances. It's mainly used on the jib lines. Those are lines on either side of the boat, but when the sail's on one side, it's taut the other one's lazy and you don't want that lazy one to fly away. So to start it off, I like calling this knot the ampersand knot. You start with the same general twist you would have for the bowline. If you wanted to look at it like a bowline knot, you start off like this, like an ampersand. You can almost see it forming. You bring it around, back in, and there's your figure 8 knot. Now you can calibrate it a little better wherever you want it to be. So let's just create a little one right here. And this is a compression knot. So if it was in on the end of your line and it's going through a line threader, so if the line gets pulled on, there's no chance of it coming out of whatever mechanism it's going through. This way you don't have to chase your rope, your lines as they go over the side of the boat if the wind pulls on it really hard or any other situation like that. So sailing is a combination of all of these knots. These are the most basic but also the most used. Each one has a purpose, a time and a place to be used as well. As you can see, some are slip knots used to accommodate for situations, and others, you know, you will never want that rope to be, or that line to be loose, or so to speak. So here we can see the synergy of the knots coming together in sailing. There's a bowline focused on in the center of the picture, as well as stopper knots being used on both ends of those ropes. Thank you for watching my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it and hopefully learned something. Bye.